Hi, and welcome to another Ivanti patch for MEM tutorial video. This video covers the initial setup of patch for MEM and the built-in configuration checker. Let's start with the initial setup configurations you'll need to make in order to get the patch for MEM plugin operational. With your MEM console open in administrative mode, navigate to the software library and then expand the software updates container. In here, expand the Ivanti patch container to reveal 3 page views: Automation Scheduler, Updates, and Published Third-Party Updates. Select the Updates page view. Once the initial loading is complete, the database will not be detected as this is not configured during the installation stage. To create a database, click the Launch button to open the Data Migration tool. Once the tool is open, click Next on the welcome screen and input the fully qualified domain name of the MECM site server. Then, click Test Server Connection to verify connectivity to the site server, and then click Next once the test is successful. On the next page, enter the connection string for the SQL server. This can be the local host or a remote SQL database server via its hostname, IP address, or FQDN. Once you've entered the value, click Test Server Connection again to verify connectivity to the SQL server. Once the connectivity is verified, enter the specific database name you want to use. In this scenario, we'll be using the default name of Ivanti Patch Data. At the bottom of this page, a single group can be selected to be added with specific read and write privileges to the database. You can use any of the detected groups or add a new group like I'm doing here. Please remember to add the domain prefix to the group though, or the group may not be detected successfully. You do not need to select a group at this stage if it is not required in your environment. Once you've made the necessary selections, click Next. Once the database creation process has ended, a summary screen will detail whether the database was created successfully or not. Click Next on the summary page and then Finish to exit the data migration tool. The initial load of the updates page will not be successful due to the database not being created at first launch. To proceed with the initial setup, click the refresh icon at the top of the page view, which will reload the Updates tab again. Once refreshed, the settings window will automatically display. Click Next on the Welcome page to go on to the WSUS Server tab. On the WSUS Server tab, the WSUS Server field should already be populated based on your MECM site settings. Select the required connectivity port and then click Test Connection to verify connectivity to your WSUS server. You can then import a new code signing certificate from your internal CA, or create a new self-signed certificate to sign all published patches by Patch for MEM. Once you have a valid certificate, it is recommended that you take an export of the certificate that can be replicated around your environment. All devices that intend to be serviced by patches published by Patch for MEM must have the certificate installed to their Trusted Publishers Store and Trusted Root Certification Authority Store in order to trust the published files. You can replicate the exported certificate out to your environment by using Group Policy. In my environment, I have a Group Policy object configured to prepare machines for WSUS deployment called WSUS Deployment. Here, I'll remove the old certificates present in the GPO and add in my new certificate for each of the Trusted Publishers Store and the Trusted Root Certification Authority Store so that all machines using the GPO update their certificates with my newly created certificate. Once you've verified connectivity to your WSUS server and have a valid certificate, click Next. On the licensing page, click the Enter or Refresh License Key button. This will open the License Manager with 3 different methods of activation: Credentials activation, 25-digit keys, or trial activation. In this example, we'll be using the Credentials activation. Once you've entered the username and password configured as activation credentials in the licensing portal, you can specify the number of endpoints that this plugin will service. In my lab environment, I'll be allocating 2 additional endpoint seats in the license, so I'll change the option to consume the specified seat count that I've entered into the quantity field to consume, and then click Apply. Once activated, the consumed and available fields will have been updated, and the success status will be shown at the bottom. Click Exit Activation and then Next to proceed. On the Languages tab, you can specify what patches will be displayed in which languages. Please bear in mind that setting a language to show in the plugin will not necessarily mean the patch can be published to WSUS in that language. It is therefore recommended that you allow languages to inherit from WSUS so you know which languages can be supported by your WSUS installation. Click Next to proceed. The General tab contains additional advanced settings. These settings will be covered in a later section of the tutorial video series. Click Next to proceed to the About tab. Click Finish on the About tab to finalize the initial setup of Patch for MEM. In this next section, we'll be taking a look at the built-in configuration checker tool to verify that our Patch for MEM plugin is set up correctly. To launch the configuration checker, open the Settings page from the plugin and navigate to the bottom of the General tab and then click the Launch Configuration Checker button. Once the configuration checker tool opens, it should pre-populate most of the fields with information obtained from your environment. Simply enter the administrator password for the account expected to perform the operations and then click Start. You may additionally need to input proxy credentials if required for your environment. As the configuration checker runs through its checks, new tests will post into the bottom of the window displaying whether they have successfully passed the test or not. Green bars indicate success, whereas red indicates a failure that will prevent the plugin from working. An additional response of orange indicates a warning where some features of the plugin may not work as intended due to the issue. Once the configuration checker shows all your tests have passed, your plugin is now successfully set up and you can start publishing your patches. Thank you for watching this Ivanti patch for MEM tutorial video about performing the initial setup. I hope you'll join us for the next one.